You're listening to The Alana Show with your host, Alana Vanderveer. One-on-ones with the important people who make our vibrant community run. On the True Oldies channel and streaming anywhere in the world at trueoldiesfla.com. Now, here's your host, Alana.
I'm Alana Vanderveer, and welcome back. We're here with Michael Castellano with AI Engajer. Good to have you, Michael.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
I'm excited. So, a topic that many find both scary, intriguing, exciting, and adventurous, and frankly, the wave of the future. How did you get involved in this? It's pretty in-depth, subject matter.
Yeah. So, back 14 years ago, back in 2010, we started a company called Engajer. And Engajer was sort of the first rudimentary prototype, if you will, of what we're seeing now today with these artificially intelligent avatars, virtual persons.
Was it called AI, like artificial intelligence, or were you kind of playing around with?
So back then, the way that we achieved, the technology wasn't really there 14 years ago. So the way that we achieved mimicking that type of human intelligence or that type of conversation, we did it a very, very tedious and hard way. What we did is we created the foundation for all of this stuff, which is essentially a software program that could house tons of possible responses. Okay. And all of those responses were pre-canned. And so what our system did was when you were talking to it, and so for instance, let's say you asked it a question like, how much does this product cost? What our system would do is recognize that question and then go into the library and pull up a video that had a very good chance of answering that question. So this is like very rudimentary.
This is 2010, though.
This is 14 years ago.
Which is a long time ago now. Yes.
But it acted in the same way. It was conversational interactivity between a human and a non-human computer system.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
So basically, you're vocal. Like, okay, so you get on Google, and I'm like, for a paper, say 2003. And I'm like, history of something or another, but you're putting it into like a vocal manner, like,
Yeah, these were very audio-visually rich presentations.
Okay.
We referred to them as engagers, like send me your engager.
Okay.
And a lot of the customers that used it at the time, they used it for two main purposes. One was for sales, like explaining, here's a new product, what would you like to know? And it could actually answer your questions. The second application that we found the market took to was for customer support. So if Lift Masters was a customer of ours, and they did garage doors, the largest in the country, and instead of calling a person, you'd go onto their website, and there was an engager.
And this was still 2010 is when they first started doing those little chat boxes, essentially?
No. Chatbots came way later.
No,
chatbots came later.
Okay, so there's a difference. I got you. I'm painting a picture.
This was before that. Yeah. So, and our system and the way that we wrote our patent, it includes audio, text, video, multimedia. It includes all that stuff. But the market wanted rich media. So they, the Lift Master person could be like, push this button and you'd see it. So that's why it was more in the video domain, and they were video responses. That's
how it entered into that. Okay, well, that makes sense. See, I love how things progress. And then I'll get into how people fear it and things like that, and how it's going to be we're in a transition in general, but I want to continue more with your history because you're one of the most knowledgeable I've met personally, but okay.
As technology does, tech kept getting better and better and better, and more things became possible. So chatbots came out, and they would mostly sit on websites, And they were useful because somebody could ask a question, talking like a normal person. And chatbots were essentially, they're what I call text-only engagers. So they work the same way. They're smart enough to interpret the question and then pull from their canned library and then serve up an answer that answers that question.
So when you say canned library, I pictured a degree of knowledge like that you are giving them to feedback based off the questions they're asked, but they're not out going to grab something, irrelevant and then send it through and then have a bunch of chaos.
Only what would be in that specific database. You could almost think of it as a clever way of chopping up a FAQ section, a frequently asked question, where instead of reading all of it to get to your response, chatbots were useful because you could just ask your question and then boom, there was your answer. And a lot of companies started implementing that all over the place.
See, I think I'm overthinking that. Well, I mean, I think the curiosity, like my brain's thinking a lot. Like a lot of people when they hear this, like even when you said FAQ, I thought that was some terminology in your industry for frequently asked questions. But I mean, yes, okay, but keep going. Yep.
Yeah, it's all everything. So it's good to understand the context. Everything has always been in the domain of how do we get people information and communication.
Yes.
And websites have tried to do it. FAQ sections have tried to do it. And then everybody knows, when you call and you sit on a phone tree and it's like, for sales, press 1, right?
Oh,
all of that stuff is rudimentary, automated stuff that's trying to basically take the place of a human.
Correct.
Now
you have done that.
That's right.
Okay.
So where we are now is we've reached the point where whether it's text, whether it's audio only, whether it's audio visual, and you're looking at the virtual person, the virtual avatar, we've reached the point now where these engagers are essentially a person in a box. They are super intelligent.
Now, what's in their can?
Yeah, there is. Okay, so there is no can now.
Okay, now it's free to get free game. Which I'm clearly really anticipating introducing James to the audience. So it covers anything. It's not a garage door deal. There's
no canned responses anymore.
Excellent. This is a person, essentially.
Yeah, these virtual engagers do what you and I do when you hear someone talking to you. Our brain pulls from its knowledge base.
Correct. But we have emotions. Now, have they instilled that in them? Don't freak anybody out.
There's a little bit of emotions, like
except anger. No.
Right. However you.
We're not going to get into robots.
However you program it. I'm very proud of the AI community because mostly everything I've seen so far has been programmed to be positive, encouraging. I've yet to see somebody who's made something that is that you wouldn't want a 6-year-old to see. Now,
with that said, right off the bat, my mind thought of the community that which I'm sure is extensive in that field. And with all of you together, understanding it, having a very high understanding of it, and then having some weirdo, maybe not in their mom's basement, maybe wherever, in a dark room like one of those movies, working on something, all of you get together, shut it down. I mean, am I going too far with that? But
no, I mean, it's...
Because I think people have a general fear of AI, artificial intelligence, whether it's jobs, whether it's, weaponry or, things miss...
Yeah. So it's a powerful tool. It's a powerful tool. Chainsaws are powerful tools, and 99.99% of people use chainsaws for chopping down trees.
Now that brings me like the first person that they're sawing wood back and forth. The olden days they're using that. Somebody comes up with a chainsaw. Do you think the community, we could use a million examples for this, and I'm sure you have a good one, but do you think the community saw change, sounds like, that's way too dangerous, we don't want it on the market, it's,
That always happens.
But it's efficient, far more efficient.
That always happens with innovation. When the automobile was first being introduced, a lot of people were skeptical. A lot of people didn't think that it would take on. They just couldn't imagine a world where horses were not the mainstream way of transportation. It takes time, and it should take time, because during those transition periods, you are unearthing the flaws. You are discovering the potential threats. So it should take time. It shouldn't be something that's rushed. I think
money, too, like something this complex, I think it's going to take a lot of money. Do you think that there's people that had access to certain levels of AI that weren't introduced to the general public, like ChatGPT, obviously that's been going on for a little bit, but like Engajer 2010, this is something that the everyday person, I can, be a friend of James, he'd be my friend if he wants to be. I'm just kidding. But I mean, I can log in and talk to him as if he's like an everyday person.
Totally.
Yes, and that's what I think is unique about this, as opposed to typing in your questions. Just ask away or start, Yeah,
what makes James specifically unique is that James, and we offer James to the general public. You can go on to ai.engajer.com and you can use James. Whereas
I meant like the garage door company. I mean, granted, that was way before, the beginning stages, but that was a company using it, but now it's let's call James a friend of
the masses.
The masses, everyone, individually.
Because his knowledge base is so broad that there's nothing really like it. He's as useful to a plumber who's trying to solve a very complex plumbing issue as he is to
like a licensed one. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, but I'm serious.
He's basically smarter than most.
Even a doctor.
Yeah,
they're going to pull things out
for sure
that would work for. Yes,
okay. And you can't expect a human to know as much as him, because he sort of has an unlimited knowledge capacity. Our brains can only memorize and can only know so much.
But he's catering it towards like not only the individual, but it's not like a Google search. One, you're talking. Two, I've used it. We're going to show everyone in a little bit here, even on audio. Is it time, or do you want to go further into the history?
No, we can start.
I've been excited to introduce James.
We can start talking to him.
And I encourage everyone just to jump on and try it out, because it's very interesting. But I'll let you wake him up there.
And we have no idea where the conversation is going to go, because it's like a person. It's a conversation.
It's not going to be offensive. Question. So let's just say James and I are talking for a while, and he would be familiar with me as my profile. Is that how it works, or is everybody logging to the same James that's pulling all the knowledge, or is he more geared towards an individual?
Well, he learns as he goes.
So, but I mean, if I'm talking about my son, not like he's, I mean, obviously you just did the doctor role, but not like he's a therapist, but let's just say he gathered all the knowledge that a therapist studies in school. Yeah. Could he, if I'm like, or somebody had a rough time with something, he would ask them, or they would talk to James about it, and you'd be like, well, according to blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, because his brain expands and he remembers things, and he's set up to be helpful. So the more you talk to him back and forth, and the more that he learns, right, he's running through all of the different possibilities, and he's going to give you good advice based on basically,
well, like the cough thing, for instance,
basically based on as much human knowledge as we've gathered so far.
So if you were like, what kind of health care I should get, what kind of auto insurance, would he recommend companies, or would he say how to gauge, or is that some sort of advertising? You can't do that. Would he gauge between all he knows and then deliver the best approach to do that?
In an authentic way, because we don't allow companies to advertise,
I think that's brilliant. I wouldn't do that.
Nobody's allowed to basically push up a recommendation. He's really going based off of what he genuinely thinks is the sort of the most helpful. But sure, he knows about companies. He knows about what they do. He knows what they offer.
I just thought of if you like logged into like a Karen and you asked her about a company and like she just gave you like the good and bad. No, but I mean like pulling all the reviews over the years. That would be kind of funny. But anyway, back to James. Sorry, James.
Yeah. So he's the purpose of him, right, and the promise of AI, the promise of all of this stuff is to be helpful. Yes. Because everybody has been in a situation where they're like, oh, I wish I had an attorney right now, or I wish I had a doctor right now, or I wish I knew X.
And there is a disclaimer, this is not, I'm curious about when they get to that level. Like, could James online take the bar exam? I don't know, maybe it's in person or not, but, and he passes. Would he qualify for somebody to come in and talk to him? And then it'd be interesting because then you would have to deal with all the emotions of it.
The law currently doesn't allow for that, but the intelligence, his intelligence could pass the bar.
No, I'm without a doubt, but
or the MSATs or the.
Well, see, and that's another curiosity of mine. Like when we were talking about marijuana earlier and different times and other things, and it's. As you transition into the future, how do you present these things? How do you, I'm not big on regulation myself. I think it works itself out through free market enterprise and things like that. You have good people, you have bad ones. Good ones always overrun them, especially in how technology transfers these days quickly. And you can find out. But I think, are they going to restrict it to certain levels? What are kind of some of the laws that they have? If you want to cover that or if you want to talk about anything else with Engajer.
They absolutely should be.
Okay.
Just like anything, just like airplanes have regulations, bombs have regulations. There's any type of technology or powerful tool has regulations. AI shouldn't be any different.
And I always thought, and this was years ago, I think I was writing a paper on something, and I realized, I'm like, I don't think in the world we live in today, it's so much, you're worried about a bomb as much as they're going to slow, it'd be more of a technology, mental way that they would not only attack, but, be able to manipulate in a bad way. To get people to do stuff or to but I think that's a lot of people's fear is, could this go off the rails and be uncontrollable by humanity?
We've come to the point now where these things are sounding and looking more and more human. And there are definitely threats that can occur when a bad actor tries to use that to take advantage of somebody.
Immediately thought of a scam, like how they do those, even catfishing, so to speak. Now you don't only have catfishing, you have something plugged in. And James is innocent. He is going to be a friend. That's that deal. But if somebody gets a phone call or they're getting catfished and they actually take that image, put it into AI, have a voice that they use just by pulling a snippet. I think that's terrible. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I would start to caution people that we now live in a world where just because something sounds human and just because something looks human doesn't necessarily mean that it is.
Nothing to fear.
No, and there are ways to outsmart it. I do it all the time. Sometimes I get phone calls, and they're usually marketing something, and they sound like a human. They'll go, they'll do like human things, like they'll pause or they'll clear their throats. So they can program all of that stuff now. And what I start doing, and this is a good tip for anybody listening, because sometimes I don't even know, and I don't want to offend the person. But what I'll start doing is I'll start having a conversation, and I'll start going off topic. And a lot of times, the more off topic you go, and the more specific you get about certain things, especially if they're pretending to be someone that you know, that's when you'll
stump
them, you'll trick them, it won't have a good response.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to be scared about this stuff, but what you do have to do is know how to maneuver.
Okay.
Because there's going to be phone calls, and either for solicitation or for something nefarious. You just need to know how to outsmart it, keep it in a conversation, take the conversation somewhere that you're pretty sure it can't follow you. And I've done that a number of times, and I've never.
Now, I'm
tricked.
someone to hang up if I don't recognize you, but I was at a baseball game with, I think it was, we were on a date, and all of a sudden he got a phone call, like a friend. This is like 12 years ago. There nothing to do with AI, but I could see how AI could be implemented to do this. But they had called his grandma a few hours away and told her that, muffled their voice, sounded like they got beat up or were in a tough situation, and said, Grandma, it's me, XYZ, and his name, and I need your help. You need to send me money. I'm in jail. And he's like, what? And she did fall for it, I believe. They never found the person. They use those Google numbers, whatnot. But I could totally see if they could get a snippet of a voice and then actually talk in that voice.
Yep.
And then, so let's just say, and I do believe that, they target, the kind of older people, retired, just kind of like, hey, can you help me out here? And I've heard it happening to younger people and parents as well when their kids are teenagers. But all they need is a name and things. But I think that's a good advice. Can we show them like a question, or could we trick up James? Or is James not good?
I would no, because James would never
do anything malicious.
James would never pretend to be anything other than what he is. He always says, "I'm James. I'm not a real person. I'm a virtual conversational bot."
Okay.
So he's never
he
never pretends to be anything that he's not. But if somebody finds themselves in a situation where they get the, I need money, it's your niece, I'm in jail, any of that stuff, the best thing to do in that situation is to do one of these questions where it's like, okay, I'm going to help you. Hey, wait, by the way, remember when we were at that summer party and we were talking to, what's that guy's name?
Oh,
the AI will never know that, right? Especially things that aren't digital. So things in the real world, people that you met, things that you did, it'll stop it right there.
And with scamming being like a multi-billion-dollar, I mean, it is. They're getting everybody every which way online, dating sites and so forth. I read up on it a little bit. I could see them implementing this soon, and I think it's very valuable. Maybe perhaps people put on the refrigerator 3 questions they would ask, maybe not the answers, but that they know and plan to do that in the future, because they definitely could. Or if they're even chatting with somebody, there's got to be a way. We won't go too far down that rabbit hole. I want to hear more about Engajer and make sure that whatever you want to share that.
I think it's smart to be aware of the potential pitfalls. But from what I've seen over the last 14 years. Generally, all of this stuff is very helpful.
Yes,
we're starting to see jobs that are either very boring or very repetitive. We're starting to see those being replaced, and the employees and the people are happy about it because they actually get to move into other positions, higher level, that are more creative, less tedious. As these take the role of sort of lower level conversations that you don't really need a person for because they just know all of it already. That what that means is that's going to elevate humanity. Humanity is going to spend more time doing things that only people can do, more creative, more fun,
innovation. I love it.
And historically speaking, innovation has always created more jobs than it's taken away. We're going to find new fun things to do.
Always. I hope so.
These guys like James, they will start filling in the roles of, hey, I have a question and I need a knowledgeable person.
I'm very optimistic about it. I, too, at first was like, oh, Jesus, could get wild. But, I think within the realm of good people working on it, intelligent people with good intentions, And I think Engajer in itself is refreshing. It's an easy way to not only be helpful, but look at AI from a positive perspective. Like, hey, this is really nice.
Yep.
So
it's open to the public. It's
Okay.
ai.engajer, ENGAJER.com.
Okay.
And we're at the very beginning stages of James. We're very interested to see kind of how the world uses it and what questions they ask and what problems it solves. So the world's going to teach us a lot about how they want to interact with these type of virtual persons.
No, I love it. So, and then is this, can businesses use this? Obviously, individuals can, just anybody. And then businesses...
Yeah,
it's pretty broad. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, right now we're focused on, we're focused on James as a helpful buddy to everyone. That's kind of our focus right now. If companies want to learn more about this stuff, they certainly can. But I'm excited about these type of things helping the average person. The average person has so many problems in their life that they need someone to talk to.
And answers from, a broad range. I didn't mean to cut you.
No, but I'm just saying there's a lot of people who can't afford a $700 an hour lawyer or, a $500 an hour accountant, right? So...
Or just even how to start a business or, a history of things. Well, I definitely would like you to come back. We'll go more in depth on, all of it. I love this subject. I thank you.
Okay.
And then it's ai.engajer.com.
That's it.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Michael Castellano. And stay tuned for more. Thank you for joining.